What makes Synergy different? What makes Synergy special? What is it about Synergy that sets it apart from all of the other companies out there that are trying to sell products? And I'm going to tell some stories about my time in industry, kind of things that I've seen and things that I've been a part of that really make me happy and proud to work for a company like Synergy. It's been really cool in the last several months. We've had a few people come through from Synergy and do tours in the Hughes Center. It's so awesome to see the work that people put in. I'm so appreciative that you guys are out there helping spread good health through these amazing products. So why Synergy? In order to talk about Synergy, I need to talk a little bit about the tradition of quality that we have as a company. It's really hard to differentiate yourself based on quality because everybody says we're a high quality company. Everybody says we've got these certifications. Everybody says our products are the best. To me, looking at a piece of paper that says we have a tradition of quality, it's hard for it to be meaningful. The difference between Synergy and everybody else out there in terms of quality, we've been doing this for a long time, manufacturing our stuff. We built quality testing. We built the foundation for what the government now uses as standards. We were doing this before other companies were doing this. We are kind of the company that set the standard from early on in terms of how you make product, how you do things in the right way. And we still go so far up above and beyond quality standards that sometimes it frustrates me as a scientist sometimes. We are so strict, it makes it hard for me to find ingredients. We are so strict, it makes it hard for me to make sure that the products are the way that I designed them because sometimes I think, oh, this is great. I have this great mix of ingredients. It's going to be awesome. I send it off to our manufacturing team and our quality team, and they look at it and they say, these ingredients aren't what they say they are. And they test it and they say, no, we can't source that ingredient. And I have to go back to the drawing board and I have to reformulate. I'm building the formula based on what that ingredient should be, not based on what it is. And sometimes it's literally impossible to get the ingredient the way that they're selling it to me. Because it's impossible, I have to find a whole nother formula, a whole nother pathway to get to the same effect. In terms of quality, we have this 52-year tradition of quality. We've been doing things the right way for a long time. We have all of the different certifications that you would expect to see and some additional ones. Our ISO certifications, these are certifications that are generally given to an analytical lab. Most manufacturing facilities don't have these certifications. We have them because we have an entire quality department that works in our manufacturing facility that uses analytical instrumentations, that does analytical testing. So we have to have these ISO certifications. ISO 17025, it's a common certification that you would find for an analytical testing laboratory. We have it because we basically have our own analytical testing laboratory. GMPs, that's good manufacturing practice. NSF, that is one of those quality bodies that comes and looks at different factories and makes sure that they're doing things at the not just the proper way, the minimum, but the top end of quality certifications. So we have all of these things. They look great on paper. A lot of other people have some of these. The message that I want you guys to really think about and take home is we've been doing this for such a long time that quality matters to us because we want to be here for 50 more years. We want your kids to be involved in this company. We want your grandkids to be involved in this company because this is a family company. It's a way of life. Once you've experienced these products, you're not going to want to leave it. And we want to make sure that they're the same product now and they're the same product tomorrow and they're the same product 10 years from now. And it only gets better. It never goes downhill. I love this concept. The concept of herbalism is one of those concepts. It's a little bit of a hard concept for me sometimes because there's things in herbalism that I truly don't understand. I'm a scientist, and there are aspects of Eastern medicine that I don't understand. I haven't studied that. And because I haven't studied it, hard for me to say it's correct sometimes. It really is. That's the standard instinct for a scientist to say, I haven't studied it, it's not in my textbook, it can't be right. One of the great things about being at Synergy is it has exposed me to new philosophy and new evidence of the efficacy of this type of philosophy that's really made me a better scientist and broadened my horizons. And I love this concept of dynamic herbalism, where we are looking at tradition and modern science and creating a real blend that makes products that have a true edge compared to what's out there. Products that have not just a few key active ingredients, but other herbal blends, other pieces of the formula that synergize, that build up the product, that make it more than any other product out there. One of the things that we have that is really unique about Synergy is the Hughes Center. I've been at a number of different companies. I've been all around this industry. There's some things about the Hughes Center that are truly, truly unique. The expertise that has been assembled, and it's not just within the Hughes Center. It's if you look at our group of scientific advisors that we consult on a regular basis, the medical doctors, the registered dietitian, ethnobotanists, all these people that have significant experience. As I was saying before, sometimes it's hard for me to understand something that I don't know. The great thing is I know enough to know that I don't know everything. I know enough to know that there are people that I need to rely on, and there's expertise that I need to rely on. And that's how we work together to build amazing products. This is something that I haven't seen anywhere else. Most companies, they have a CSO, and he might have some interesting ideas that he wants to pursue, and he's going after his pet projects. That's actually the best case scenario. A lot of times they're just influencers. They're people that are saying, I want to build some products that are associated with gut health. And they just go around shopping and say, oh, well, what's a product that's associated with gut health? We actually have the people to come at a problem from many different angles to come up with a true best-in-class solution. And that's one of the things that really differentiates Synergy and Synergy products. I love this slide because it talks about how we formulate our products. And this is it's kind of a blend of herbalism and modern science to get to an idea of clinical efficacy plus ingredients that add in a traditional way, often synergistically with those clinical ingredients, to create a product that's better than what you would see on the market. And a great example of this is actually Pro-arginine. Pro-arginine is a product that there's a lot of L-arginine based products on the market. It is an amazing ingredient. L-arginine on its own is truly powerful. It can enhance blood flow. It can improve performance. Pro-arginine is not just L-arginine. Pro-arginine is a blend of ingredients to enhance the effect of L-arginine, to make it last longer, to make it work better, to make it truly unique, to make it a product that is truly a cardiovascular powerhouse product with other benefits as well. We're looking into Pro-arginine a little bit right now, looking at the benefits, the immune health, especially when you combine it with some of the other products, looking at the impact on chronic inflammation, that type of thing. There's so much there, and there's so much there because of that formula, how it was developed using clinically substantiated ingredients like L-arginine, plus other ingredients to make that product, that ingredient, into a product that is truly superior. Again, I mentioned the Hughes Center before. I am so proud of where I work. I work at a place where we actually get to do fun research. We play in the lab. We build things that are truly unique. This is something that you won't see at other companies. The majority of companies in the supplement industry do not have their own R&D team. They don't have a lab. At best, they have their formulating area, which consists of a small room with a couple of scales. And that's pretty much it. They don't have the capacity to do research. The Hughes Center allows us to do real research so that when we're building a product, we're not just relying on Google. We're not just relying on ChatGPT. We're not just relying on whatever the common perception of an ingredient is. We're relying on hardcore science. We're relying on research papers. And then we're doing our own research to make sure when we put these ingredients together, we're getting an effect that goes beyond those individual components. This is some of the science that we've actually done. If you've seen some of the studies that we've done on our Centerbeat, you may have seen this type of study. One of the cool things about these studies, these are multiple products. It's just the work that we've done. For our Synergy, we looked at salivary nitrates, both for pro-arginine and for Synergy. We looked at blood flow by looking at the thermal imaging of our hands. We've taken products, and one of the things that when you look at a product and the product says it has a whole list of ingredients, you can actually test that in the lab, how much of those ingredients are in there. You can test what the phytonutrient composition of that product looks like. And many products say they have a lot of different complex ingredients, but then when you test them, there's almost nothing there. There's almost no peaks there in the chromatogram. We can actually look at our analytical equipment. We can test our products compared to the competitors with our analytical equipment, and we can show just the obvious disparity in terms of complexity. If you look at this UV print, the number of peaks on there, it's so much more complex. That's because we're actually putting things in our products that contain phytonutrients in high enough quantities that it's measurable, that it's obvious, that it's visible on the analytical chemistry printouts. We do our own studies. We're able to actually get some of our own patents because we are able to demonstrate that when we put ingredients together in a specific way, in a specific amount, we get an unexpected effect. We get synergy. In order to get a patent in the US, you have to demonstrate that you have an effect that is not obvious, that is surprising, that somebody from the field would not be able to guess what happened. The only way to do that is by actually doing research. So when we do research, and we're working on some things right now that I'm super excited about because we're getting, close to potential patents with some of these things that we're working on, but we already have some of these because we're in the lab. We're demonstrating surprising effects in the lab. We're demonstrating true synergy in the lab. We're in the lab doing it. And that's what allows us to create those products that are truly unique. It allows us to generate our own IP space, our own patent, so that we have products that no other company can have. Sourcing. One of the things that I think is one of the most important things about Synergy, one of the things that is truly above and beyond other companies out there. And I'm going to tell some stories here because this is really, really important. When I was in some of my past life stuff, when I was in other companies, we relied a lot on third-party manufacturing. That's not necessarily horrible. Third-party manufacturing, it's a big part of the industry. The problem with third-party manufacturing is you really don't control the process. And when you don't control the process, things can happen. I was working with a company, a third-party manufacturer, that I was very excited about the product that I had created. It was one of those things that, I felt as a formulator was going to make a big difference in human health. And that's why we're doing this. We don't do this for any other reason than because we think we can help people. So I had this product. I thought it was going to help people. I went to the third-party manufacturer, and I had all of my list of specifications for each and every ingredient to make sure that this product would be what it needed to be. The first time that they made the product, we tested it. We made sure that it was what it was supposed to be. Unfortunately, after the first 2 or 3 lots, we kind of stopped testing. And at that point, what they ended up doing was switching one of those ingredients for a much less expensive version. And this can happen all the time. You might have French maritime pine bark. That's a really expensive ingredient. It's really popular in parts of Asia for skin brightening and things like that. But it's really expensive. It's like $1,500 a kilo. Well, they substitute in a version that's similar, related, that grows in China that costs about $100 a kilo. Unless I'm actually looking at it all the time, testing, I'm probably not going to know that switch was made, and the product no longer works the way it's supposed to work. One of the great things about Synergy is we are sourcing optimal ingredients all the time. We are making sure that the right ingredient is in the product all the time. These pictures are actually the beets and center beet. The story behind this is actually a pretty good one. If you look at the beets and center beet, we wanted to use whole beet. We did not want to use a beet juice powder because beet juice, it's higher in sugar, it's lower in fiber, it doesn't have any of the complex polyphenols that whole beet has. It still has nitrates, which can enhance blood flow, but it's missing all of the other healthy components of a beet. We wanted to have beets that had enough nitrates in them to have the function that we wanted for Synergy. So we went all around the world looking for the right beet powder. And we found that if you grow them at high enough elevation, if they're exposed to enough harsh temperatures, if they're exposed to extremes in UV light, those types of things, they express more phytonutrients. They get higher concentration of those molecules that we want in our body. And we're actually able to achieve a higher concentration of nitrates in these whole beets than you can actually get in most beet juice extracts. This product is heads and tails above what you would see on the market just by virtue of the whole beet powder that we're sourcing in an extremely unique location in the Himalayan mountains at like 11 or 12,000 feet elevation. That's just one story. And it happens over and over and over again. L-arginine, it's another story. We have our very own unique L-arginine in pro-arginine. It's different in shape. It's different in size. It runs different on manufacturing equipment, so we don't need as many manufacturing aids. It allows for a different solubility of the product so that when it hits the water and gets into our stomach, it has a different effect than a small particle size would. All of these things we're doing because it's the right thing to do. We're doing it because it's not just about a quality test. It's about making the product the right way from the ground up. And that starts with sourcing. Manufacturing. Oh man, the manufacturing quality, this is a big deal because when you manufacture your own products, you control every step of the way. If you look at the testing that we do, that's Stetson. He actually works in my group now. The guy on top there, he was our stability guy, but now he's moved into our science and innovation group. And he's actually doing stability testing. That's something that we do on all of our products all the time. We have a whole room full of stability chambers so that we can make sure our products are stable, not just when you buy them, but 2 years from now. We do more stability testing than any other company that I've ever seen. And we have more strict standards than any other company I've ever seen because we want to make sure you're getting what you're paying for, even if it's a year after the product is manufactured or 2 years after the product is manufactured. The other big thing on this slide, there's a lot of different colored lights on this slide in one section. That's called an HPTLC. HPTLC is one of the things that we use to demonstrate the ID of an ingredient, of a plant or something along those lines. Now, most companies don't even bother with this because it's expensive and it's somewhat challenging to do. You need to have qualified people to do it. You can outsource it. You can send it off to a lab to do it, but that costs $300 or $400 a sample. So most companies don't want to do that. We have our own team that can do this. We also send things out on a regular basis. If there's any potential conflict with what we've tested, we send it out to make sure. So we're always testing ourselves and we're always sending things out to be double checked if we need to. There was a story that I want to tell about red clover. Red clover is a great ingredient for women's health. It has some liver health benefits, but it has molecules called isoflavones that are in the flower part of the red clover and a little bit in the leaves as well. Now, if I'm a farmer and I'm growing red clover in my farm, it would make me really sad to just pick the flowers and throw the rest away. I'd want to try and make a profit on all of it because I don't know the difference. It's all fine to me. It's all red clover. If I do a DNA test, which many companies do some DNA testing, it's going to look exactly the same. Once it's ground up as a powder, I can't tell it apart from the other stuff. It all looks the same. So why can't I sell it all? And you'll find that a lot of farms have this mentality. They try to sell it all, not just the part that's relevant to the function. So normally we contract with a company to get just the flower. Unfortunately, at one point we got a shipment in and it looked the same. It smelled the same. It was still red clover, but when we tested it, it didn't have the right phytonutrient composition. So when we did this HPTLC, this doesn't just identify the species, it identifies the phytonutrient profile. It identifies the molecules that we know need to be in that plant for it to have its effect. We take this HPTLC and we demonstrate clearly that the new stuff doesn't match our standard. it doesn't match what we've been receiving for the last several years. We look into it more and more and more. It turns out the farmer was just sending us stems. All that we were getting was stems. They sold the flowers to somebody else. They gave us the stems, and they expected us to not do the testing. They expected us to not see that it wasn't the right product because they already had a C of A, a certificate of analysis. They had the spec sheet. According to the documents, it was all good. But according to our testing, it was the wrong plant part. We were able to demonstrate it was the wrong plant part. We sent it back. We got the right stuff. They probably took that red clover and sent it to another company who didn't bother testing and sold it to them. That's the reason why our products work every day, because we make sure that not only are they formulated right, not only are they sourced right, but every single time we get an ingredient, we make sure it is what it is supposed to be. So the formula is as good as it always has been. We have the absolute best ingredients. There is no doubt in my mind that we source the best ingredients. Our science is way above and beyond what you would find at other companies. I have to tell this story. I've told it before. Okay, I've got a couple minutes, so I'm going to tell this story. When I was director of R&D at another company, we wanted to show how great our science was. So we wanted to create a video of our science. In order to do this, I got a phone call and they said, "We'll drive to this location." I drive to the location and it's a building that's just been constructed. I go up to the third floor and I go into the corner. And it's really interesting because it is a big, huge industrial building and it's totally empty, just finished construction. And in the one corner, they have a fake lab set up. And they have these directors and they've got actors and they're filming people walking around with beakers and in their lab coats trying to look like scientists. They look much too pretty to be scientists. They look like actors. That's how they were displaying the science of the company, by having this fake lab. They had me go into the video and stir around a test tube, and I started agitating the test tube the way I normally would as a scientist. And the director says, "No, that's not the way a scientist would stir that." The director's telling me, as a scientist, you're not doing it the way that a scientist would do it, because their perception is different. And he was just wanting me to look like a scientist to everybody out there that doesn't really know science. I hate fake science. I hate fake lab coats. I don't want to be, the pharmacist looking guy in the lab coat that's pretending to be 9 out of 10 doctors recommend or whatever. I like real science. I like what we have at the Hughes Center. This is my colleague Wei Gao. She's actually doing real work in the fume hood. It's real science. This is our fume hood. This is our lab. If you come to Synergy, if you come to the Lehigh office, you will see our lab. We can show you the work that we're doing. And it's truly exciting stuff. And it's amazing to be a part of. We absolutely have the best products. I mean, hands down, bar none, we have the best products. There is no product out there like Pro-Arginine. This is a product that truly can improve cardiovascular. That is all that I have. Thank you so much.